All right. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. We are here today for our financial literacy series, sorry. And today's guest, we have Umar Alatar. He is going to be presenting on YouTube, giving us an introduction, whether you're a creator, you're an entrepreneur, maybe you're a teacher, or you would like to go into some type of role in marketing and you want to know a little bit about YouTube. Here's somebody who has experience and expertise in this specific thing. Omar was born and raised in Egypt. He studied computer science at Bucknell University. He moved to Utah a little bit more than a year ago, and he currently works as a product manager at Pluralsight. So he has a YouTube channel where he explains the U.S. college application process for students in the MENA region. And before I pass it off to Umar, I do want to kind of give a little bit of background that this financial literacy series is part of our Project Rahma. And Project Rahma is a program that we started during the pandemic to provide the community resources, knowledge, and information that would help them navigate this challenging time. And one of the subjects that we felt was, what are different things that people can get into during the pandemic and improve their financial understanding, as well as understanding of technology and different tools and resources that are out there in case they have ideas for maybe starting a business or getting into a new career. And so that's a little bit of background on that. I would also like to welcome our two other panelists, Abdi Qadir, if you'd like to introduce yourself, and Hassan as well.
Yeah, hi, my name is Abdul Qadir Afton. I've been working with UMCL since the early pandemic, and I'm a graduate student at the University of Utah.
Hi, I'm Isa Hassan. I am a financial advisor at this bank called Bankers Life, and I am just right now, and also have a
Can you guys hear Isa, or is that just me?
It was a little bit muffled. Yeah, it's a little bit muffled.
Okay. What about now?
No, it's like your volume is
better, but it's very low. Well, that's okay. So we'll keep moving. So I would like to pass off if you'd like to pull up your presentation, Omar. And if you have any other background that you want to talk about, what sort of got you into this in the first place, and how did you get started on YouTube? And I know YouTube as a platform has changed a lot, so maybe you can just talk about like when you jumped into this.
Yeah, for sure. Let me pull up the presentation because this is actually a part of the presentation,
okay,
like how I even got into YouTube. So but thank you so much for the introduction, and thank you all for joining us today. Let me pull it up.
I believe you do have co-hosts.
Yep, I
awesome.
do. Yep, sweet. Can you all see my screen?
Yep.
Awesome, cool. Let's just begin with the story right away. My name is Omar. As Omar said, I again born and raised in Egypt, and one of the things that really changed my life was coming here to the US to study. So one day during my sophomore year in college, I was kind of I thought of starting a YouTube channel, and I've always liked filmmaking and video editing, and like tinkering around with cameras and editing software and stuff. So I thought, why not start a YouTube channel around that topic. At the time, I looked on YouTube, and yes, there were a lot of people talking about studying studying in the US and the US application process for international students. But nobody had a very structured way that takes the person through like very structured steps to understand exactly what is supposed, what students are supposed to do. So people had like scattered videos about like maybe like different scholarships, but I felt that this was a need that was not met. So I was like, okay, I've gone through this. I think I can talk about it. Let me just like start doing that. And I did that. I started in 2017 actually. But then because of school and because I had a lot going on at the time, I made 4 videos and then I stopped completely for 3 years. And then I got back again last April. So in April 2019, I uploaded my first video after I got back, and I've been more or less consistent since. So this is kind of, my YouTube story. So like why I got into YouTube in the first place is I felt that it gave me a sense of purpose. Like many of us try to find ways to give back to their community or help, like either through volunteering or their time or their money or anything. But honestly, I felt like I needed something that involves a little bit more of like kind of a creative outlet, but also something that through which I could give back to the community. Also, like ever since I was young, I loved sharing my ideas and thoughts with like my friends and family. So I would like write blog posts or like Facebook posts, and this is just something that I love to do. So I thought that YouTube would be an amazing place to just or like form of expression, because YouTube isn't always like people don't always just talk about the thing that they were started off talking about when they started YouTube. They always branch out and they end up sharing thoughts and sharing opinions, and I felt that YouTube was a great platform to do that for me. Again, I mentioned this at the beginning of the presentation, but I really love the creative process of like just having an idea and developing that idea to become a YouTube video in the end, which we're going to talk about in the rest of this presentation. But that was my motivation behind starting YouTube. Now I just want, before anything, to begin by addressing some of the most common fears that people have when thinking about starting on YouTube. So the first one is I'm afraid to speak in front of the camera. Said literally every single YouTuber before starting. I don't think that any human being is comfortable speaking in front of the camera. It's weird, it's uncomfortable, and nobody nobody just sits in front of a machine for like 30 to 60 minutes and just talks. This is very uncomfortable, especially if people are doing it vlog style and like in the public or in the open. This is extremely awkward, and the more people do it, the more they get comfortable with it. So at the beginning, I was very rigid. I was very mechanical. I didn't know how to speak in front of the camera, but by the 10th video or something, I was completely comfortable. And it keeps people keep developing. Like you don't like plateau here. You keep developing and becoming better as a speaker in front of the camera. Second, fear that I personally had was, like putting yourself out there. It's people show a lot of vulnerability when they put themselves out there. They share their thoughts publicly. They share their even the product publicly, and nobody's ever satisfied with anything creative that they do. So whether it's a painting, something that, a pottery that you did, or like whatever, nobody's ever satisfied with anything that they've done. So putting yourself out there, especially that in front of the camera, people usually at the beginning aren't very comfortable with being themselves. They're trying to, maybe emulate their favorite YouTubers or do what, the most famous YouTubers do, which is actually a mistake that I'd love to get into later. But that is one of the things that people are always afraid of when they're starting, their journey on YouTube. Again, when I filmed my first video, actually even after I got back, so I filmed my first video in in December of 2019, and I was so afraid to upload it and put it myself out there that I only uploaded it on April 2020. in April 2020. So like I wish I hadn't done this. I wish I just like pressed the publish button, because after I pressed it, nothing happens. Why? Because nobody even knows me. So like nobody would even like, you know, like the feedback that I got on it was all right, you know, and you know, nobody died. I certainly was okay afterwards. So that fear is that is one of the more irrational fears that we have when we start on YouTube. Third point, it goes along with the first point, that YouTubers are confident, and I'm not. Again, nobody is confident putting themselves out there. At the beginning, it's one of the most vulnerable things to do, and it's not easy. And the more you do it, the more confident you're gonna get. The fourth fear is related to the content itself. So many YouTubers keep saying that, hey, to start on YouTube, you have to have a niche and it has to be super dialed up and blah, 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 blah. Yes, having a niche is important. And it does help in people finding you on YouTube and, you know, finding that you are the go-to person for XYZ. But it's okay to just like think about what you're really good at. Like every one of us is good at something. And the more layers you add on this, the better your niche becomes. So for example, in my case, I wanted to talk to students, international students, about studying in the, you know, studying abroad. Okay, let's start there. But then the added layer was I was gonna only talk to Arab students or like Arabic speaking students, because this is my mother tongue, and they're gonna relate more to me than, or I'm gonna be more relatable to them than if I talked, you know, in English internationally, even though I might get like, you know, a bigger audience. I added more another layer to that, which is I'm only going to talk about the US college application process. And I even added more layer that I'm not even going to discuss any scholarships. I'm going to talk about the need-based scholarship track, financial aid track. So I'm not even going to discuss scholarships at all. This is, you know, so many other people do this, but nobody talks about need-based financial aid. So I'm going to do this on my channel. And so far, it's been great. Like the rate of growth has been faster than the average YouTube channel, because I dialed in my niche. And it didn't take me long to dial it in. It was just my experience. Like I didn't have to think about something extraordinary to do that. So that's that. Finally, filming gear is too expensive and I cannot afford it. This is a very reasonable fear that you know, most people have when they're starting YouTube. And I'm gonna discuss this later, or address this later in the presentation today. But yeah. All right, so let's set some expectations about YouTube because people do get discouraged on YouTube very, very easily. And if you don't stick with it, you're not gonna succeed on YouTube. So let's just, you know, I'm just gonna read out the presentation, but your first videos will suck 100%, because you're not experienced, you're not an experienced person speaking in front of the camera. You don't have experience with video editing. You literally have experience with nothing besides the content that you're speaking about. And some people even don't. Some people learn about the content that they are gonna speak about throughout the process as they go along. So your first videos will suck. This is normal. Everybody's first video does suck. So this is something that you just have to get over with, get over the perfectionist in you, and just, you know, push out your first few videos. Second point, it kind of goes along with the, actually, no, the second point is that you're not gonna gain any traction at the beginning. Nobody knows you at all. And this is probably actually a good thing because of the first point, which is your first few videos will suck. So you don't want like traction when you're still learning and iterating on the process, and, you know, dialing in what your process or YouTube process is like. Most people at the beginning, you know, they're not that consistent. They face a lot of, you know, impediments and hiccups as they learn how to be good YouTubers. So it's actually a good thing that you're not going to get a lot of traction at the beginning. And then the last point, and I cannot, you know, stress this is a very, very important point, which is the fact that success on YouTube is not linear. Throughout our lives, we have experienced success in a linear fashion. So yeah, you go to school, you take a math class, you get good grades, you pass to the second year, and life goes on like that. Like you get a job, you get paid monthly, or you get paid bi-weekly, etc., etc. So the reward cycle is linear, and it's very and it's consistent. With YouTube, it's not that way. With YouTube, you start, the curve is actually exponential. It compounds over time. So you start with nobody at all knowing who you are for months, if not even years, and you have to stick with it. If you don't stick with it, unfortunately, again, nobody's going to see you. But once you hit like a 1 year or a 2 year mark, you will have gained enough traction if you put out quality content consistently that adds value to people. So it needs a lot of patience. YouTube is not like an overnight success type of thing. Moving on. So yeah, so shifting gears a little bit, I just wanted to talk about my content creation workflow, because a lot of people don't even know where to start, or what happens behind the scenes. They only see the video in front of them. Each and every one of those steps I could talk about in like full webinars and even more, but I'll try to be as succinct and go through them as quickly as I possibly can, because it's impossible to talk about all of these today. But with any content ever online, like you start with an idea. I always make sure that I have a place to record those ideas, because they usually come to me when I'm showering. So I have to like find a place to like record those ideas right away, not to forget them. Once I feel that I'm ready to like act on this idea, or like kind of, start actually developing content for it, I do my research. Sometimes I need to do research. Sometimes I don't need to do research. I just know the information, but it never like hurts to double check the information if you're giving out like, educational stuff, for example. So if you're like a math teacher or whatever, just make sure that just treat it as if it's like class prep, for example, in the case of educators. So that's the research phase. Sometimes people have it, sometimes they don't. And then to make the filming process less painful, I create this, take maybe 20, 30 minutes, maybe sometimes an hour to write a script. Usually I write it in a bullet format. Beginner YouTubers usually have, they need to like read scripts word for word. They don't feel that they can do it, like can just like read a bullet and just like talk about it. But as you gain more confidence and as you like gain more experience doing YouTube, sometimes you won't even need any bullets even at all, or outlines. You just like can open the camera and talk about something, and it's going to come out coherently, which is amazing. That's one of the things that just with like everything gets better over time. The fourth part is filming, and filming has so much into it. There's a ton of amazing YouTube channels that can explain the filming process and how to use a camera and all of that. But at the beginning, a phone is more than enough, and you can use your phone. It does everything for you. You don't need to worry about like complicated settings. And most YouTubers start off on their phones, and phones are, they have amazing filming qualities right now. So like video quality. So you shouldn't worry much about filming, but I'm going to talk more about this later in today's presentation. Step 5 is editing, and that's the most technical step out of all of these steps. Editing is a little bit overwhelming at the beginning, and many people feel that this is going to, their biggest bottleneck starting on YouTube, because editing softwares usually like they're intimidating to begin with. They're not easy to look at, but like once you take like an intro to like iMovie or Final Cut Pro or Adobe Premiere, things become so easy after the first couple of videos you make. So I just want to tell you that like don't fear editing softwares. Just like anything, it's a learning curve, and once you step over that learning curve, it becomes really, really, really easy, and it becomes second nature. Now I sometimes edit videos in an hour or less, which is quite fast, given that people like sometimes spend like days, if not weeks, on videos. So the more you do it, the better you're gonna get. And at the beginning, it would take me for like the same video that I would put out now, the same like amount of work, it would take me maybe 24 hours to create a video that I create now in like 2 hours or so. So you get way better as you do this more. Step 6, and it may seem like super like trivial, like thumbnail creation, that's just a photo, but believe it or not, that's the one thing. Like you may put like hours upon hours upon hours in a video, and because some thumbnail is not good or not catchy enough, people are not even gonna watch your video. So just think about this. When people open YouTube, they have, at least on desktop, they have like, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 videos in front of them, trying to fight for their attention. And you have to win that fight with like top-notch YouTubers, which is like insane. So like sometimes even when I get like a very small number of views, I'm like, wow, like they actually chose to watch my videos as opposed to watching, I don't know, MKBHD or like Mr. Beast or whatever. So that's one of the biggest aspects of it. Uploading and writing description. Again, this is just a part of the process. It's not hard at all. You just press the upload button and everything else is quite intuitive. I don't think anybody that I've seen start on YouTube had to learn how to upload or write description. SEO is important here, and like optimizing your description and title, again, for the best click-through rate is very important. But you learn this again through the process of creating content on YouTube, and you don't have to have it dialed down at the beginning because again, you don't even have a lot of audience, so it doesn't matter. And finally, the 8th step happens after you've created the video and uploaded it, and it's engaging with your audience. This was one of the things that kind of into like intellectually, I knew I had to do this, but like I actually didn't understand how important and how much work actually goes into this until I uploaded videos and until I had like some audience traction. This step needs a lot of managing because when you get to a certain point, it's not, you can no longer reply to every comment, and you need to know how you're gonna approach, audience engagement, and respectfully, because again, you want to be as respectful as possible to your audience and keep them always engaged and satisfied with your content. So that step like comes later a little bit in the game, but I just wanted to show you the the content creation workflow that I personally have. I know I like ran so quickly through this, so if you guys like have any questions, maybe like now or at the end of the presentation, I'd love to take them because there's so much meat into each and every step of those.
Yeah, I did have some questions that sort of came up while you were talking, and might as well just ask them now since so
Sure.
like you did bring up like not needing to invest in a lot of tools or devices right off the bat, but say you're at that step where you really want to start to improve your video production quality. What are some of the things that we could or should invest in that you think makes a big, a lot of results and a big difference?
Yeah, that's
short investment, small
probably
investment.
the second, like the next slide. Let's see. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let's stop here. Awesome. Sweet.
And then the other one, I don't know if you might answer this later in the presentation, but sort of like what is some great video editing software that you recommend for beginners? Say we're really nervous and stressed out about editing a video, and maybe this is something you might cover as well. But
yeah, okay. So the thing with editing software, and it's kind of ironic, softwares, and it's ironic that is if you own a Mac, you have like two options. You have iMovie and Final Cut Pro. iMovie is free, Final Cut Pro is paid, and Final Cut Pro obviously is like the more professional way of editing videos. And a lot of YouTubers, especially American YouTubers, use Final Cut Pro. The thing is, I started video editing when I was young with like obscure, like kind of editing tools at the time. Like not so many people knew about them, and I used to like just create lyrics videos and stuff during my teenage years. So it wasn't like something fancy at all. But one tool that I used is called Camtasia. I don't know if it's still around, to be honest. It might be, but that's one tool. But the thing is, what I realized, especially with the difference between iMovie and Final Cut Pro, is iMovie restricts your editing abilities so much by giving you that like ease of use. So yes, it is easy to use, but sometimes doing the most simple thing is so frustrating because they don't allow you for so much flexibility that like, you know, Final Cut Pro does. So what I would suggest is instead of just, you know, you can start off with iMovie. Like it's easy. Like you can easily like cut pieces of your video and like, you know, cut out the ums and the uhs and whatever while you're doing your videos. But at some point you're gonna feel like you need more. When you hit that point, invest in learning Final Cut Pro. There's a ton of resources online that are amazing. I definitely didn't take any like, you know, I didn't go to film school or whatever to learn how to edit my videos. I just learned online. And there's amazing resources right now. It's way better than it was like in 2017 when I started. So, and even then it was great. So I would say, try to get over that like kind of mental barrier of learning Final Cut Pro or any complicated editing software, because it's going to pay off so much at the end. You don't want to get used to iMovie, you know, and then make like 30 or 40 videos and just get used to like the iMovie workflow, because it's going to restrict you in the future. So so that's what I would say to this question.
So I have a question in terms of editing.
Yeah.
So when it comes to editing, I know like a lot of people like, you know, add videos to their, you know, sorry, I mean like add music to their videos, you know. And so
Yeah.
when it comes to music for YouTube or, you know, creating content, some of the music, do you have to purchase it or like, you know, for copyright reasons? How does that work?
Yeah, that's a great question. So what I personally use, and I like to invest in my channel just because it brings me joy, but I understand that a lot of people at the beginning, they wouldn't want to pay money on their channel if it's not generating money. So I use a service called Music Bed, and I pay, I think $15 or $20 a month for that. It's a hefty price to pay for just like, you know, music, but like just you have to keep in mind that filmmakers use independent filmmakers, I mean, they use such a software to like such a website or like a service to get their music. And you have like, it's kind of a Spotify for content creators. So like you have like a bunch of music and sometimes some of those websites, they even have like sound effects that you can download and use without any copyright infringements. If you don't want that, and that's completely understandable, and it's actually, you know, it's what most people do, just Google royalty free music, and that's kind of, you know, the kind of music that you would want to use for your YouTube channel, because otherwise you might get any like some copyright like claims on your videos, and they might ask you to remove it even. So this is not a situation that you would want to put yourself into, especially if you're a big channel, obviously. But yeah, that's kind of what I can think of. Each and every artist and each and every service, they kind of have different restrictions, so you have to like know exactly what they're asking from you. So some people ask you to like credit them in your video description. Sometimes some people ask you to not use their content at all unless you purchase it. So you have to kind of, you know, read the caveats of each and every, you know, website or each and every service. So yeah, that's that. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Cool. Do we have any more questions from the audience or from anybody here?
No, I think you can probably keep going. Yeah.
All right, awesome. So yeah, let's talk gear. I think this is one of the most exciting things that YouTubers think about, and also sometimes some of the most overwhelming things for YouTubers when they're starting off. So um, this is still my setup until this day. I have a camera, I have a mic, and I have lighting that I made out of like a like a baking cake, like a baking pan. I can talk about how this happened, but like you can purchase lighting online. Like, but my lighting is DIY and it's super cheap, and it does the job. Um, if you want to invest a little bit more in your lighting, there's a lot of amazing lighting kits online. Again, they look very overwhelming and they look like you need a lot of knowledge, but believe it or not, this is just okay, so the way these lightings work is you have a tripod that you mount your that big box on. It's called a diffusion box, and you need a diffusion box because any lighting is super harsh. If you can see, like, even in my background, overhead lighting is horrible. Like, this is lighting that should never ever be used for any video, and you should purchase some form of lighting to make it better. Lighting makes filming quality night and day. So you can be using the best camera in the world, and if the lighting sucks, a mobile phone is gonna produce better quality with good lighting than bad lighting with the best camera in the world. So just always keep this in mind. If you can improve your lighting skills, this is going to be a better investment than paying so much money into like a professional camera, in my opinion, at least. So that's that. So yeah, these diffusion boxes, they just, again, they just diffuse the light so that it's not too harsh on your face. And these are just two bulbs. So it's like a switch. You flick it on, you flick it off. Nothing really fancy here. Of course, you can get super fancy with lighting, and you can, be upwards of $1,000. But we're gonna like stick to, budget lightings for now. Microphone, you can purchase a microphone, and you can just like, if you're using a camera, you kind of have to purchase a microphone, because the microphone on the camera is really, really poor quality. Like, any microphone that you're going to use is going to be better than the in-camera microphone. So you kind of will have to purchase, an external mic. This mic, like the one I have right over here, it's $60. So not that expensive, and I think it's worth it. And no matter what mic you use, as long as it's close to the subject. So as you can see here, like, I actually have like this mic, and it's close to my mouth, and this is why you probably can hear good audio quality. I haven't tested it, but I hope it does. You do. This is the same company that makes this mic, but this is kind of a more advanced mic because, again, I wanted to invest in the quality of the sound. And this is also the camera that I use. It's called Sony A6300. You don't have to buy this camera. Your video quality doesn't have to be 4K, but if you can afford 4K video quality, I think it's worth the investment. One thing that I just want to say here is make sure that your audio quality is better. Like, make sure you invest in audio before you invest in video, because people will be willing to sit through a poor quality video, but they're not gonna sit through a poor quality audio. This really puts people off, and this is one of the biggest mistakes beginner YouTubers make, is investing in amazing video gear, and they forget completely about their sound quality, which I think is actually more important than video quality. So that's that. All right. Let's say you want to have a more simple setup. You can just have your smartphone. The smartphone, it has an amazing quality microphone, because, I mean, it's a phone. So, that's one thing it has to do well. And this is called a ring light, the light that you have in front over here. One problem that I personally have with ring light is I wear glasses. So you're going to have like two huge rings on your glasses if you wear glasses and you use ring lights. So that's kind of annoying. If you're okay with taking off your glasses and using it, it produces a beautiful video quality. It's so good. You kind of have to, there's kind of what's it called? Like an opportunity cost here by using this light. If you want to even go simpler, and just use your phone. Sunlight or natural light is one of the best ways to light your videos. The one caveat here is that it changes throughout the day. So if the day is like, if you know the day that you're filming on has, the sun like goes in and out like frequently, you wouldn't want to use natural light because it's going to affect your video quality quite drastically, actually. Oh, go ahead, Abdul.
So I know like a lot of people when they when they make like traveling videos, they use GoPro. So like
Yeah.
how is that? How's GoPro when like traveling and like the sound and the audio? Is that the best equipment, or like using the phone? What's the best equipment when it comes to like traveling videos and all of that?
So are you talking about audio here or video?
Talking about like
Or both?
it's like YouTube YouTube content, but based on like people like when they do like their vlogs when they
Hmm.
travel to different places. Some of
Yeah.
them use GoPro, So
Yeah.
like, is that like the best equipment in terms of like if you're making traveling videos, or you can use
So
an iPhone to make that and still be have good audio quality.
so you can definitely use an iPhone and it's going to be amazing quality. And the cool thing about iPhones now is they are waterproof as well. So you can even take them underwater. So they're technically like GoPros, but
Yeah.
without the ruggedness of a GoPro, because people like they abuse their GoPros. So if you're not going to do a lot of like jumping around and like, a lot of outdoorsy stuff, and you're not afraid of your phone getting broken, it's definitely a good substitute as well. Like, try as much as possible to not think about gear and make it your bottleneck. If you can't afford like expensive gear, I think it's completely okay to start off with your phone, because phones are really good quality. And I intentionally actually put like an older iPhone over here because you don't even need like the latest iPhone, like 12 Pro. You can use whatever you have on your hand right now. You don't even need an iPhone also. So yeah. But speaking of GoPro, the newer ones are really good right now. Even like their sound quality are even like it's good. It's definitely nowhere near like a what's it called, a like an external microphone, but it still does the job if people understand that you're doing a GoPro video as opposed to like sitting down and filming yourself, a headshot or a talking head video, as they call it.
Thank you.
So yeah, of course. Yeah, so that's that. Again, this last setup, it would require like zero spending if you have a smartphone. You just need your smartphone and a window, and you're good to go. So yeah. One last thing that I wanted to mention, because so many people start YouTube with the intention of monetizing or making money from YouTube at the end. Again, my YouTube channel is primarily educational. If it makes me money, amazing. If it doesn't, I don't really care. But for those people who do care about something like that, there's something called YouTube Partner Program. And to be eligible for monetization, you need 4,000 plus watch hours in the last 12 months. You need 1,000 plus subscribers and a valid Google AdSense account. I forgot to add account, but yeah, I have a valid Google AdSense account. So I honestly don't know how to create a Google AdSense account, but I think it's pretty easy, and you can Google that. And you're going to find like tons and tons of resources on the internet explaining how to do that. This picture on the right is actually my own channel's like kind of monetization page. I have hit the 1,000 subscriber like mark, but getting watch hours is actually way harder than I had expected. So I hit 1,000 subscribers when I had maybe less than 2,000, definitely less than 2,000 public watch hours. So I'm working towards this, and the more videos you make, the more consistently you upload videos, the more watch hours that you're gonna get. But yeah, just keep in mind, I also like want to keep to like kind of call your attention to the fact that I've been uploading almost consistently since April, and I only have actually don't even have 3,000 subscribers. So it took me like what 8 months now, and maybe like 30 something videos, and I still haven't hit even the monetization kind of point on YouTube. So again, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of patience. And even when you hit monetization on YouTube, you're gonna get cents during your first year after monetization. So it takes a very, very, very long time to get money on YouTube. But once you get there and once you get better, again, it keeps compounding. So if you have like 100K subscribers, 500K subscribers, a million subscribers, at this point, you wouldn't even have to worry about, a day job. You wouldn't have to worry about working anywhere. And this is one of the best things about YouTube. Obviously, not everyone gets there because not everyone has the patience and the consistency and the grit to go through like years and years of creating and putting so many hours into creating content and not getting a single dime out of it. But if you keep doing it, at some point, you'll probably break free out of the rat race if that's your goal. Yeah, I think it's an awesome thing to do, as long as you are managing your expectations and just grounding yourself and not comparing yourself to others, especially on YouTube, because you're going to find channels that grow super quickly, way faster than yours, and you're going to keep saying, hey, what am I doing wrong? You're probably maybe doing something wrong because you still are learning, but it's not on you. It's just that they probably were able to like cater to their audience like better, or they did something that you haven't been doing. I don't know, but it's different for different people, and you should never ever compare yourself to others on YouTube or anywhere, for that matter. But yeah, finally, like, I just wanted to leave you with like the most cliche thing ever, but uh, I think that's the success formula of YouTube. Like, if you provide quality content that people value, and you do that consistently, at least once a week, like you upload a video once a week, you're gonna succeed on YouTube. So yeah, that's it for the day. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I have a few questions.
Yeah.
So you mentioned, so I noticed that, like, with your camera in the previous slides, you had like a Sony camera.
Yeah.
So like when it comes to, like, getting cameras like that, that particular, shape, or like, does it matter whether it's Sony or like Canon? What's a better brand, or like it doesn't really matter? I know, because
Uh,
like the lens size of course matters too, right? Because the
mhm.
quality.
Yeah. So when shopping for cameras, most of them are great. For example, like the difference between Sony and Canon is, maybe Canon has a better color science, so the color processing on the camera is better on Canon. Sony is more famous, so more YouTubers talk about, Sony and their setup on Sony cameras. So it's easier for people to learn how to use the camera. Canon lenses are cheaper than Sony's. Sony's, are more expensive, so it's an investment. So you have to like keep so many things in mind when purchasing a camera. But I would just say, like, watch a few YouTube videos on it, or like a couple even, and then commit to something. It's not really like the end of the world, and most cameras right now are great. So yeah.
But so are they equal or like greater to than an iPhone? You would say, like the cameras, the Sony cameras, or the
Yeah, they're
physical cameras? Yeah.
so they're definitely better than an iPhone, because one of those like
Okay.
mid-tier ones, or even like lower to mid-tier ones, they cost as much as an iPhone. So
Okay.
cameras are expensive, and lenses can get like extremely, extremely expensive. But I would say, again, if someone is just starting off, they don't know whether they're gonna like make money off of that. They're just like, experimenting. If they don't have like a huge plan in mind as to what the YouTube channel is going to be, and are still experimenting, I would say definitely just use your phone to like test the water.
So my other question is, like,
Yeah.
so like for you, when you make your YouTube channels, like how do you like brand your videos, to get more views, or do you just let it go and publish it, and then so you hopefully somebody watches it from your audience? How do you build that base?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and this is something that I personally am struggling with. Actually, I'm still learning how to do that, and it's a never-ending like process. To be honest, I hate self-promotion. It's one of my least favorite things in life, and it's so torturous that I have to do this every week. Um, but what I did at the beginning is I started off by sharing stuff on YouTube, and then I'm sorry, sharing stuff on Facebook, because again, in Egypt, there's a big user base on Facebook. Like people still use Facebook so much on in Egypt. And then I also started converting my own like personal Instagram account, because like it kind of was like hitting two birds with a stone. I wanted to use Instagram less, and I also wanted a place or a channel to like market for my YouTube videos. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna change my Instagram account or convert it to be uh, um, like a branding account instead of a personal account. In a way, it's still personal because I mean the channel is named after me. Like it's not like, you know, how to study in the US or whatever, but it's nice to have that place to like market. And what I do is I actually direct people on my YouTube videos to follow me on Instagram, because that's where I, you know, take people's questions. So like both go hand in hand. They both like work in tandem to market for my content. Is that the best way to do it? I have no idea. But I think it's been working all right so far. I mean, my growth is not super bad. It's not amazing, but like it's all right. And again, YouTube is not my full-time job, so I'm not putting like so much time into it. But yeah,
Have
go
you
ahead, Omar.
experimented with other like live streaming platforms? I know Facebook has done a lot in the past few years to really make the shift towards video.
Hmm.
Maybe you can talk about uh, some of the differences that YouTube has.
Like in terms of live or in terms of uploading videos, like offline
Yeah, in
videos.
live as well as like uploading videos.
Yeah.
Are they totally kind of different?
Yeah. So in terms of live, I've maybe gone live once on Facebook, and it was with another like, you know, organization. Or like I've gone live like a couple of times, but it wasn't on my own like Facebook account. I do go live on Instagram because it's more fun, I feel, and it's easier, and my audience is like, you know, they're aged 18 to 25, or six, maybe even like 15 to 25. So so I think the user base is they use Instagram way more than Facebook. So that's where I try to go live. And the I mean, they all allow you to save videos, so that's not really a big issue. But yeah, YouTube live, I think I haven't tried it yet, to be honest. And I'm not sure if I'll do it right now, because for me, live feels like something that's, you know, kind of scrappy. And on YouTube, I try to keep my content super like high quality. Maybe I'm wrong. Like I don't like that perfectionist attitude towards anything. So I might just do it just to break that, you know, kind of idea of like keeping everything super high quality on Facebook. But on YouTube, I'm sorry. But yeah, that's in terms of live videos. In terms of offline videos, um, the cool thing about YouTube again is it's a high quality platform. Like it's not like other like social platforms. People can upload like how can I put it, like not so high quality content and get away with it and still like get good traction. What I'm looking for is not really traction. I'm looking for providing value and providing quality content to people. So I don't want my quality content to be mixed in a place where like other not so high quality content is being created. And Facebook, it has both, to be honest. But I thought of double uploading on Facebook and YouTube, and I tried something like that, and it did not feel like my YouTube channel was growing that much when I was double uploading videos on both natively on both Facebook and YouTube. So I may have been doing something wrong because I didn't put enough time and effort into this. So I may try doing this again. But for now, I do not use any other platform besides YouTube and Instagram. So yeah.
I have a question. Issa, do you want to go before I go? I'm like talking too much today. This is interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, Issa, you have a question? You're on mute.
Oh, you can go.
No, I wanted to ask, like, I guess, like, we see businesses like, like Patagonia, like, all these businesses, like, they use like YouTube, to kind of showcase their items, right?
Mm,
Their products. And so
yeah.
like, I guess, like, for local businesses, how can they use YouTube, I guess, to market themselves or like, for their items and then whatnot? Like, how would you
Mm.
say did you go about that?
Yeah, so what you're talking about is called like I mean sponsorships, and that's what when a YouTuber gets to like a specific subscriber count or like has specific like watch hours or views per like month or per whatever,
Yeah.
sponsors either reach out to them or they reach out to sponsors as a as kind of another stream of income besides like YouTube ads, and that's actually way more profitable than YouTube ads for many YouTubers. Um, what you're talking about, however, is small businesses marketing for themselves on their YouTube channels. So they are both the content creator and kind of the person that they're marketing for in a way. And so many people start YouTube channels to market for their stuff. But the thing is, on YouTube, you have to like give value to receive value. Very cliche again, but if you don't give people any value at the beginning, and you have to give like so much free value at the beginning. One big content creator or YouTuber said like a ratio of like 20-1. So before you ask people to like pay you for something, give them 20 free things first. So it's not really. I mean, it's a great way to market for your content. And again, at the beginning, there's so much work that it's put into YouTube without much gain. And that's the thing. People need to know that they can trust you because you're just a random person on the internet when you just start off. So people need to know that they can trust you, that they can, that you will provide like a consistent quality content before they pay for anything that you do. And, I've been doing YouTube for 8 months, as you saw, and I haven't asked I haven't even like remotely like kind of hinted towards anything that's paid for my audience, because I know that that's still not the time to do something like that, and they still need to get more from me before I can ask them to give me anything. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. So,
Mhm.
Issa, you can go ahead.
This is going back to like I think was it step 8 or 7 for more like um like the audience like guidance, like giving them feedback and stuff. Does that have to be more of like you like consistently have to do it like to a matter of time, or like does it have to be more of like you can respond to them in a way of like as you go on with what you post?
uh, could you elaborate a little bit on that question? What do you mean by a matter of time?
So like when you're like sending like how you get comments sent in before for like when you're presenting and everything, like is it like the replying what I'm trying to say is like replying to the comments and like the way you would approach it as like to gain more
Yeah.
of that audience back.
Yeah, so I almost like replied. I don't do a lot of lives, so I almost never reply to comment. Like when I'm doing a live session and someone has a comment, I just respond to them in my live because it's usually like a Q&A session or something like that. But if it's a video and I have uploaded the video online, then on the first day I usually dedicate like some time, and I mean it's pockets of time during the day. It doesn't have to be like you don't have to sit down and like reply to comments,
Mm-hmm.
but I do. I mean, they took time out of their day to watch my video when so many other videos were fighting for their attention, and two, to comment on my video. So that's that's the least I can do, just to, as a sign of respect to my audience. And even if I can't respond to a comment, I at least like heart it, just to show them that, hey, I recognize you, and I value your comment. Thank you. And I usually do this with like any like compliments or any comments like that. Um, if someone has a bigger question, and if that question is like, it would take me so much time to answer it, especially if it's like a question that's a repeated question, I create a video answering that question. So I tell them in the comments, hey, I'm going to create a video about this in the future. Please stay on the lookout for it. So that's kind of how I engage with my audience. And again, I'm still learning, so not sure if this is the best approach, but that's my approach to still keep my mental sanity. So yeah.
Yeah. I have one last question before. So with so much content on YouTube, it's like so much you can find on YouTube, and I think
Yeah.
it's for people, it's like it's so hard to say, oh, like, well, I can't do that because it's not a good idea because someone already did it. So like,
Mm-hmm.
so many good ideas, so many good videos out there on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you find like your niche? Like, how do you find, okay, you know what, this is what I'm gonna do, and this is like my focus. How do you
Mm-hmm.
bring that down? Or like, how do you perfect someone else's idea, or like, YouTube? Because some that they discover and like they talk about and discuss on YouTube videos. A lot of
Yeah,
content.
that's an amazing question, and I should have included this actually in my fears section. And this is definitely one of the biggest fears that YouTubers face when they're starting off on YouTube. They're like, okay, there's like this like super famous dude. He's so good at what he's doing, and that's exactly what I want to do. And I don't even have an idea if I have a chance. But then said every single YouTuber like who made it on YouTube and who succeeded afterwards. The thing about YouTube is it's not that you're like kind of um, even if you're doing like, it's not that you're, so if think about any product or anything that you purchase like anywhere. There's a lot of like shelves out there. There's a lot of speakers out there. There's a lot of like anything out there. And the thing is, people have different tastes, and YouTubers have very different personalities. So one YouTuber, I could really, so many YouTubers talk about tech. Like so many YouTubers talk about tech. Okay, but I do have like a few people that I enjoy uh, listening to the way they organize content and the way they present content, and even their personality. I like them. I like listening to them speak. And at some point, YouTubers become again a personal brand. So like the person, people will start listening to anything you say after like a specific time. Once they know that you're someone that can be trusted, and they like you as a person. So that's what you see. Many YouTubers start off with. They start off with like a very very dialed up niche, and then immediately this niche starts shifting and molding. Into different things that maybe the audience wants or that they want to talk about. And this is actually something that I started experimenting with. So most of my every single one of my videos actually, it was just talking about the US college application process. But I had read, quite a bit of books last year, and I wanted to share my experience reading those books. So I created a video about that. So that has nothing to do with, I mean, you could link it to studying abroad, because again, it makes you a more prepared applicant, sure. But it was just a video about reading, and that video is actually the best performing video of all of my videos so far. So that's a way you can branch out of a niche and keep experimenting. But at the beginning, you just have to start with something, knowing that someone else does it way better than you do, and you have to make sure that you don't check their accounts if that makes you feel bad or whatever. But just make sure that you don't compare yourself to others, because it's unrealistic. Like you can't start off anything in the world. Like you can't start off chess and then wanting to become a chess master, and then like compare yourself currently with your current state and your current abilities with a chess master. It doesn't make any sense. And if all chess masters did that before they started learning about chess, they probably would have never become chess masters to begin with. So yeah.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
I know YouTube has some kind of tools and features and functions of different things that you can do to your video, like putting links or text on there. Do you have any information or kind of overview that you could tell us that you think would be useful to look into, or maybe tips or tricks that you use when publishing your video?
Yeah, so right now, like YouTube, like back then, like actually years and years ago, they used to have a feature called annotations, where you would like have text boxes on YouTube. Like you would edit text boxes on your videos in case you forgot something, but they removed that actually like years ago. Right now, the only two things you can add on your YouTube video is one, something called like a card, and cards are pretty much like the eye icon at the top, like right of the video. I'm not sure if my video is showing top left right now, but yeah, it's one place like here or there. And these cards, again, I'm talking about desktop because that's how I primarily consume YouTube. Others, people may find it somewhere on mobile. But yeah, these cards, they could link to another video or another playlist. That's the only thing that they can kind of do. And once you hit a specific threshold as a YouTuber, I think a subscriber threshold or something, you can add links to that, which is great because you can direct people, let's say, to your business or to like a website where they can purchase your content. But you can also do this in the description. So it's not a big deal, really. The cool thing about like that thingy is it's a pop-up in the middle of the video, so it catches people's attention, as opposed to like description where you have to say maybe in the video, hey, check out the video description for XYZ. So that's kind of what you can do. And you could also like add something called like an end screen, which also links to other videos or playlists. But that's pretty much what you can do. I know that this is far from what you were asking me, but you can't do much annotations on YouTube as a platform. You have to do all of the annotations on your editing software before uploading your video.
And so YouTube doesn't have any like editing tools or things like that. We have to do all of it outside of YouTube, pretty much.
Not that I know of, and not that I haven't heard of any YouTuber talk about these. So maybe if there are editing, capabilities, they're not that good because not many people are talking about them. So, yeah.
Well, I like to ask guests this always, but if there are books or resources out there that you recommend, where should we go if we want to learn more about this?
Yes. So YouTube, I think, is not something that you can learn, by reading. Actually, there's an amazing book. Actually, yeah, there is a great book that you can read. It's called Show Your Work. And I meant to actually talk about it throughout my presentation, but I forgot. Show Your Work by Austin Kleon. This book, I think, single-handedly encouraged me to like put myself out there, because that's what I was most afraid of, is like people are gonna judge me, people are gonna judge my videos, I hate listening to myself, I'm not gonna rewatch those videos. It helped me get over like some of the insecurities and lack of confidence that I had at the beginning before starting the YouTube journey. So that was it's amazing for any content creator, not just YouTubers. So if you're a writer or anybody that who's afraid to share their content publicly, fantastic book. And it's such an easy read. You can read it in like 2 hours if you have like slow reading speeds as mine. If for those of you who want to learn how to how to start and grow and get better on YouTube specifically, there's a platform called Skillshare. I don't know if you've heard of that before, but it's a kind of a video course platform, and it's usually about like creative stuff, not technical stuff. So there are other platforms like Udemy and Pluralsight for technical stuff. But yeah, an amazing YouTuber who's one of my favorite people, and the person who actually taught me so much about how to become a YouTuber. His name is Ali Abdal. He's actually a British Pakistani YouTuber, and he's one of the most successful YouTubers on the internet right now. And he like kind of single-handedly taught me how to create videos, to edit videos. He has like an entire Skillshare course on how to edit your YouTube videos, and it's aimed at complete beginners. So would highly recommend checking out his course. And Skillshare, you can get like a free trial, like a 2 month free trial, more than enough to finish such a video. So you wouldn't even have to pay for that if you wanted to. It's like a 2 to 3 hour course on Skillshare. So yeah, these are the two resources that I can think about top of mind right now. But yeah, there's another YouTuber called Peter McKinnon. He's also super famous, but he uses Adobe Premiere for his tutorials. So I think a lot of people, especially Mac owners, they find Final Cut Pro easier to edit with. If you're not a Mac owner, fantastic. Peter McKinnon is your go-to resource. But his videos, it's not like a course on how to create videos. It's like scattered videos on different ways, like different filmmaking techniques or editing techniques. So yeah.
Awesome. Let's see. Let me check our Facebook real quick and see if we have any more questions.
Sure.
We did have someone ask. They wanted to know the camera name again that you use.
Yeah, I use a Sony A6300. Yeah. It's like
Awesome.
pretty old at this point because I purchased that camera like 4 years ago, but many people still use it, and I would still use it. I will still use it for a long time moving forward. So yeah,
Does it have 4K qualities?
it does, and this is exactly why I purchased it. It actually shoots in 6K and compresses the video to 4K, so even better. I would. What was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought, but yeah, I forgot. If it comes back, I'll mention it. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, those watching at home or that will watch this video, we hope that you continue to engage with us. You can leave your messages in the comments of the video, and Omar will try to answer those. Please like and share this video to anybody who you think would find this useful. Subscribe to our Facebook or like our page on Facebook, and be sure to interact with us upcoming events. We do have the next event that we do have going on is part of our Healthy Family Dynamics series. So this is on the intersection of faith and interpersonal violence workshop for caseworkers and other professionals. So if that's something that interests you, we hope that you tune in for that event as well, inshallah. Thank you, Omar, once again. I really appreciated this lesson and instruction. I want to break into this myself and get some practice. So this was a good kind of introduction for me personally, and I really value that. I'd like to thank Abdi Kadir and Isa as well. Thank you so much for your joining us and the questions. And thank you, Abdi, for putting this event together and working behind the scenes. I'd like to thank Luna Banuri, our executive director, and our board for all their support. Signing off. Till next time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Have a good evening.
Thanks. Assalamu alaikum.